Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have 4 posts for you from the same OP talking about his wife and some poor decisions. Before we start, make sure to check out my website CanadianRob.com where you can pick up your own 3D printed Carmen Chameleon complete with cookies. I've got 4 colors of them on there right now and they're going very quickly. That is CanadianRob.com. On to today's stories, let's jump right in. This story comes to us from Butthole Asks. Am I the butthole for telling my wife she can't buy bottled water? I don't know if my pride and ego is bruised, if I'm misdirecting my frustrations, or if I'm just pathetic. So I'm turning to the opinions of random internet strangers. Today, my wife did the bi-weekly grocery store run. She likes going alone, and before she left, I offered to make her a jug of ice water because it's hot, and I knew she was going to get thirsty. Her jug is a $50 Stanley Cup. Even though it was bought months ago, it was out of our budget, but she begged for it and swore she would use it all the time. About 45 minutes later, she got back and had 2 huge bottles of Evian water. We are on a very strict budget. We do not get food stamps because I make too much. She had $35 to get what we needed, and I know Evian is expensive. I asked her why she bought water when I offered to make her water before she left. I guess you can compare it to, we have McDonald's at home. She tells me they were on sale 2 for $7 and she just wanted it. That is not a freaking sale. I immediately got frustrated because we don't have money for wants. Heck, we don't have money for needs. That $7 could have bought some protein to add to our meals. I already skip as many meals as I can get away with, so there's enough for her and the kids. We have been surviving on beans, rice, Spam, eggs, and frozen veggies. I would be a simp for some chicken right now. That $7 could have bought a few small toys for our kids' birthday next week. 2 of them have birthdays, and I had to explain to them we can't celebrate this year because I had to replace our AC system. And before someone says I shouldn't have kids if I'm poor, it's too late to abort them. My work boots are falling apart. I walk to work every single day and carpool back home to save on gas. And we don't have valid car insurance because I had to choose between that or electricity. I hate that I'm a man who gets pissed off over $7 water. I'm embarrassed. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I don't see how anything is going to get better. But my wife needed her Evian. I told her she needs to take her cup of water every time she leaves the house, or sell that stupid cup. And I instantly got sick to my stomach at how controlling and petty that is. I'm the butthole, right? Just to add, we have filtered water at home, which is what I meant when I said I'd make her a water before she left. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called NoName2001514. It says, not the butthole. Have a sit down and talk about money and finances and explain to her why buying $7 water is ridiculous, even if you have the budget for it, especially when you have a $50 cup sitting at home. Another commenter down below called Not Easily Confused said, I'm so sorry to read this. You sound like a really responsible, compassionate guy. You are not pissed over $7 water, you are pissed at the betrayal and the wasting of 20% of your grocery budget. You are sad about disappointing your kids. You are frustrated that you went against your better judgment to buy an expensive cup for your wife that she doesn't want to use. If we're all honest here, you are likely a little afraid that your wife isn't as committed as you are to your budget, and that leads to fear about supporting your family. This requires a serious conversation, which is causing some anxiety on top of all the rest. But you are not upset about water. And you are not the butthole. I agree with others who say you need to have a serious conversation about the budget. Point out that she spent a fifth of the grocery money on water. This does seem like her share of the groceries this week. Is she planning to eat air? Lay out how you are going without food so she and the kids can have extra. Point out how you walk to work so you aren't spending that money. I'd suggest you do the shopping, but I don't think you have the energy for that. Maybe you can write up a list together that is followed 100%. Look up what's on sale for a little variety, but stick to the list. and definitely use the food bank. You and your kids need the calories and nutrition. P.S. Stop all discretionary spending. Figure out what you are spending money on, gifts to appease your wife, and spend that money on groceries. If you can't afford birthday gifts for your kids, nobody else should be getting anything either. Completely agreeing with this comment here, they need to sit down and have a very strict conversation about their budget and what can and can't be done. And if she's not on board, well, I don't know if counseling will fix this one, but that's probably an idea too. OP made another post in the True Off My Chest subreddit. It's titled, "I don't know who I married." I know the title might sound dramatic, and I know my family is my responsibility, but some tips or advice is appreciated. Before someone says I shouldn't have kids if I'm poor, it's too late to abort them. I posted last week about how my wife did the bi-weekly grocery store run and had $35 to get what we needed, and she spent $7 of it on Evian waters. Before she left, I offered to make her a jug of ice water because it's hot, and I knew she was going to get thirsty. Her jug is a $50 Stanley Cup. Even though it was bought months ago, it was out of our budget, but she begged for it and swore she would use it all the time. We do not get food stamps because I make too much. I work full-time and pick up as much overtime as I can while my wife stays at home with our kids. I do everything I can to stay afloat. She tells me they were on sale and she just wanted it. That is not a freaking sale. I immediately got frustrated because we don't have money for needs, let alone wants. She is embarrassed by going to the food pantries, so I try to do it on my lunch breaks or on my one day off. We have a tight budget. I walk to work to save on gas. I pick up overtime when it's available, and I'm at the point where there aren't enough hours in the day for just me to make enough money to get us to break even. I told her she needed to find some part-time work. She has been a stay-at-home mom because daycare is expensive, but now all but one of our kids are in school. Today, she told me she would need a new interview outfit and to get her haircut. I said, we don't have money for that. Our fridge completely died a few days ago. She then started talking about all the things she would do, buying and doing for herself once she starts working. I told her the money would be going towards getting caught up on bills, getting the kids what they need, and to maybe start saving a few bucks. She said it would be her money, which caught me off guard because my paycheck isn't considered mine, nor have I ever insinuated that it is. Our kids only got one pair of new school shoes this year and no clothes. It bothered me more than it did them. My oldest has a field trip next week that she won't be able to go to because we don't have the $50. My wife chews bougie water over a few gifts from the Dollar Tree for our kids. When I asked why she doesn't care that our kids are going without, her response is, "It's only one birthday they're missing. Field trips aren't that big of a deal. At least they have something to wear to school." Very nonchalant, it is what it is attitude. She had a rough childhood where she never got celebrated, got gifts, never had new school clothes, etc. So it's not a big deal to her. I've never seen this side of her and I don't like it. We have never been so poor. So is this just her survival mode method? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a deleted account. It says, "Please contact your daughter's school. They often have funds to help out for kids who need extra to go on field trips. I never would have thought until I needed it for my son." Another commenter down below called Beaver and the Whale says, "Doesn't sound like a partnership. Two people working together towards a common goal. Pretty painful when one partner does the complete opposite." And another commenter, Sailor Chibi, says, "Your wife sounds incredibly self-centered and, in a lot of ways, like she never matured past the kid who didn't get anything. So now she wants it all for herself. You're right to be concerned about her selfish attitude." Going back on the first comment, OP definitely contact the school because they usually do have something in place to get those kids onto the field trips even if they can't afford it. I know the school that my kids go to has that, so yours probably does too. The other issue I have here is that you spent $50 on a cup for your wife, and you don't have the budget for it. You're getting all worked up over $7 for water, but you spent $50 on a cup. You basically allowed her to walk all over you and gave into it by buying that cup. Alright, OP posted again in the r/am I wrong subreddit. It's titled, "Am I wrong for telling my wife she needs to get a job or I'm divorcing her? I know our vows are for richer or poorer, but hear me out. Almost a month ago, I posted about how my wife did the bi-weekly grocery store run. About 45 minutes later, she got back and had 2 huge bottles of Evian water. We are on a very strict budget. We do not get food stamps because I make too much," in quotes. She had $35. This was just a filler trip to get what we needed, and I know Evian is expensive. She tells me they were on sale 2 for $7 and she just wanted it. That is not a freaking sale. I immediately got frustrated because we don't have money for wants. Heck, we don't have money for needs. That $7 could have bought some protein to add to our meals. I already skip as many meals as I can get away with, so there is enough for her and the kids. I would be a simp for some chicken right now. That $7 could have bought a few small toys for our kids' birthday next week. 2 of them have birthdays, and I had to explain to them we can't celebrate this year because I had to replace our AC system. And before someone says I shouldn't have kids if I'm poor, it's too late to abort them. I was just pouring my heart out to my kids. If I had extra money, I'd get you guys something, you know that. And then here comes my wife with expensive water, and now they think it's a load of crap. Our kids only got 1 pair of new school shoes this year, and no clothes. It bothered me more than it did them. When I asked why she doesn't care that our kids are going without, her response is, "It's only 1 birthday they're missing. Field trips aren't that big a deal. At least they have something to wear to school." Very nonchalant, it is what it is attitude. She had a rough childhood where she never got celebrated, got gifts, never had new school clothes, etc., so it's not a big deal to her. But it is to them. I walk to work to save on gas. I pick up overtime when it's available. And I'm at the point where there aren't enough hours in the day for just me to make enough money to get us to break even. I told her she needed to find some part-time work. She told me she would need a new interview outfit and to get her hair cut. I said we don't have money for that. She then started talking about all the things she would do, buying and doing for herself once she starts working. I told her the money would be going towards getting caught up on bills, getting the kids what they need, and to maybe start saving a few bucks. She said it would be her money, which caught me off guard because my paycheck isn't considered mine, nor have I ever insinuated that it is. Daycare has been the reason why she is a stay-at-home mom. It was too expensive. I spent the last week and a half calling around to find daycare since my other kids are back in school, and I finally found an opening. Today, I told her that our kid can start next week, and that she should have no trouble getting a job by then. Heck, even a serving job would work. All of a sudden, I'm controlling, and she says she doesn't work well under pressure. I love my wife, but I love my kids more. She is barely taking care of the kids, and at this point, she is just another mouth I can't feed. Am I wrong if I kick her out or leave? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Bokaton778. It says, "You're definitely not wrong. Someone who is fine with their children getting 0 birthday gifts, but needs Evian water has serious issues. Absolutely not okay." Another commenter down below called Lover of Wine says, "Not wrong. I also had a rough upbringing. And guess what? I strive hard so our kids have what I didn't. They need clothes and shoes, I'll buy it for them. Maybe cheap ones and or on sale, but I'll be damned if they have only the bare minimum. Husband can't afford to skip meals because he's the one working and needs those calories. So I'm doing it, even if he doesn't know. Birthday presents and at least a cake for their day. I'm the one kicking up a fuss if Hubs buys water. We have a filter for frick's sake." So this post was basically a rehash of the first one with a little bit of extra info on the bottom, where OP says that he's either going to divorce her or kick her out if she doesn't get a part-time job. Well, I think in this case, if your family is floundering, you both need to be doing whatever you can to get the family back on track. Your finances obviously suck right now, but she's a stay-at-home mom, and there are other options, especially when you found daycare for that one kid. OP, I feel like it's ultimatum time, because she really needs to get her butt in gear. OP has one more update on this one, let's get into that one now. This one is titled, Update, Am I Wrong for Telling My Wife She Needs to Get a Job or I'm Divorcing Her? I've had a lot of people ask for an update on my first post, so here it is. I just want to clear a few things up first. We were not poor when we got married, and we weren't poor when any of my 4 kids were born. Things didn't go downhill financially until after COVID, a hospitalization, and our central AC went out. Plus, the cost of living and inflation. How many of you are one disaster away from crumbling? I'm making the most money I've ever made, yet I'm struggling. To those who said I need a better job, I have the best one I qualify for. There are only 24 hours in a day. I cannot get a second job unless I want to give up sleeping. One of my kids already asked me if I still live with them because I'm gone by the time they wake up and are asleep when I get home. We need more income and my wife needs to work because we have no money for extras. And yes, that includes birthdays and emergencies. I cannot step up and be a better man when there are no more steps. If you don't understand that, then scroll on. I also want to say I am not divorcing her over spending $7. It wasn't about the money. It was the fact that she chose her needs over our children's. And I'd hope any parent in that position would second guess being with their partner. My kids come first. Now, I sat her down and laid out our budget, explained how just me working isn't going to cut it because times are tough and are only getting tougher. We don't get food stamps. We don't get government help. I told her if she wants to keep eating with a roof over her head but not work, then she needs to leave and apply for benefits as a single mother. Our fridge is empty. We have 4 mouths to feed, and she won't even go to a food pantry. She broke down saying food pantries make her feel like she is a kid again in foster care, begging for scraps. She said she didn't stress about the field trips or birthdays because there was nothing she could do, and it would be a learning moment for them. She said she wants to start working, but doesn't have anything that fits her anymore because she hasn't worked in over 9 years. She has no self-confidence because of the weight she has gained. She said her anxiety is holding her back. I sympathize with her, but also we can't wait around until we get extra money before she starts working. Every penny of my checks are spoken for before it even hits my account. We can't wait. She said she will try to look for jobs that she can do from home that don't require her to look pretty. She has ads on Craigslist to clean houses and cars, which would provide immediate income even if it's $50 to $100. I'm embarrassed that that amount of money would be life-changing. I also put up ads for mechanical work I can do on my day off. I do love my wife, but she has to actively want the best for our kids and help provide for them. As for daycare, I found a private sitter for my youngest who is working with me on payment and will continue to until I'm on my feet. It's a coworker's wife. This will open up my wife's entire day to look for employment and start working. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Winterwind. It says, "My suggestion here, she should look into your local school district. I am a kitchen lead for an elementary school. It requires no dressy clothes or education. We're off the same days the kids are, and we get government employee benefits. No one cares how a lunch lady looks, we just feed the kiddos. Good luck." Another user down below called Alex Cambridgian says, "That was important that you explained to her the situation, and she was able to explain back to you and that you understood what held her back. It shows that there is good communication among the two of you. I understand it is difficult to be supportive to a partner when you come home tired from working so hard the entire day, just as it is difficult for her to spend her whole day primarily with the kids and limited adult interaction. It only adds additional strain on both partners, but you need to support her so she can improve her self-esteem. Many women are overweight, but it does not mean they cannot get a good job or that they have to be hidden at home." I don't know about this one myself. I feel like the communication still isn't there in this couple, especially because of the whole buying a $50 cup for his wife when she convinced him to because she wanted it. I mean, come on. If that's not in the budget, it's not in the budget. And if you're able to be pushed over to buy that, that means you guys are not communicating properly on what your needs and wants are. The long story short here is that OP's wife needs to get a job. I know she's uncomfortable about how she looks, but there's a lot of jobs that you can do where people don't really have to see you. Work in a call center. They're always hiring because the turnover rates in them are so high that there's always seats available, and they pay pretty well. I just feel like there's a lot of ways this situation could be fixed just by OP's wife going out and getting some part-time work. Even taking the comment above where the person said check out the local schools, that could help as well. OP, your wife needs that job, and maybe needs some counseling as well, because she doesn't seem to see things the same way you do.